Hey YouTube, and welcome back to Unique's TCG. Right now, you're about to jump into the second half of the double feature for the day, which is going to be the Red UI Goku Archetype breakdown, where we're going to talk about how the deck is intended to be played, the tools that got in this set, as well as some cards from previous sets that inherently slot their way into the playstyle. Now, if you guys want a full breakdown on the red cards that we got in this set, you can always go into the description and check out the first video I dropped today on the subject, which is the full red review. And then if I could just ask you guys for a favor, my second channel, Universe X, is a channel just about Dragon Ball content in general, and it is this close to being 1,000 subscribers deep. So if you guys want to go over there, like some videos, subscribe, and help me along with that journey, would much appreciate it. And with that being said, if you like this content, like the video, but if you love it, maybe even subscribe, because we've got a lot more going on today. So let's jump into it. So let's talk about Goku. Sun Goku is a base 15k leader who draws a card when he attacks, and he awakens at 3 life. Now notice, when he awakens, he does not gain a card in hand, he does not untap an energy, he just flips over. Now when he does flip over, he is then going to have a singular effect. He's a 20k base lead, and his activate battle says once per turn, choose up to 1 battle card in the battle area that has, and this card's original power becomes the same as that card's power for the battle. Which this means is once per offensive push and once per defensive turn, you're going to be able to copy any battle cards on the field's power and make it his original power. Now the things you're going to have to note about this is, since this is activate battle, right? You guys who have been on the sim, you guys should know, because they lay it out very, very well, but this is game knowledge as well. You have the base power of a card, and then you have how many, thousands that you can combo on top of it. Now, when you use an extra card or you gain power through an effect, that is normally going to affect the base power of a card. For instance, if I attack with this Goku and I combo a 5k and a 10k from my hand, this card's base power is still 20. I'm just comboing 15k. However, if I attack with him and then I tap 2 and I play a Glimpse of Hidden Arrogance, that's increasing his base power up by 25,000, making him a 45,000 base power card. Now, the important part to understand about this is when your opponent is attacking you, if they attack you with a 35k double strike and then combo up to 100k, and then you use this Goku's effect in your activate battle to go up to 35k, it's only 35k because you're copying his base power. The combo is not included. However, if your opponent attacked you with a double striker and then played glimpse, 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 putting him up to an extra 75,000, making him 110,000, and then said, okay, I'm done now, you could then copy the battle card's power 110,000, and this Goku becomes a 110,000 base power card, which then you can combo 5k on top. That's a very important distinction to make, and it will probably come up as we see this format go through, because people do use cards every now and then, like Final Hope Slash or any of the other less popular attack boosters. It should actually be a really big thing when you get paired up against decks like GT Goku, who has a leader effect that pumps things up by 15k. So yeah, now that we've got the leader out of the way, let's actually talk about the archetype. The last thing I do want to say is that this guy does not draw on his back end. So he's yet another leader that awakens at 3 that somehow does not draw. But unlike all those other leaders, whereas Broly, you can sack an energy to draw a card, gain some power. Zamasu, you're technically drawing an extra card via the heal, sort of. And then when it comes to Jiren, he has the taking damage and draw. This leader does not have any draw on his back end, so we really need to see what the archetype is doing to hit it up. Now, I've already divided the archetype into a couple parts, and the first part I'm calling stat rocks. What I mean by this is that this archetype has a lot of cards that their only purpose is to sit on the board and give you things to copy once he's awakened. So you're gonna see a lot of cards gain stats on your opponent's turn so that you can, in theme, as long as Goku has his friends, his allies, he has their power too. So that's literally what it is. It's very thematic. Goku either rises to the occasion when you copy other people's, your opponent's powers, or he is going to use the strength of his friends when you copy your own. So moving on to this Goku, this Gohan, you've got the Sun Gohan Adolescence. Like I said, I've gone through all these cards in my other videos, so we're going to be a little quicker about it here. But you've got Sun Gohan Adolescence, and he's basically just going to be a 25k on your opponent's turn. Likewise, this card from set 2 also does the exact same thing. It's a 2 cost, 20k power, 5k combo power, permanent opponent's turn. This gains plus 5k. Now, there's different stats between these two cards, right? Gohan is a 15k that goes up to a 25k, but he's a base 15k on your turn, so he can't really press the advantage that well. But he has 10k combo value, whereas the 18 shifts that 5k combo value over to her base attack, so she can actually attack, you know, flipped leaders, most flipped leaders, non-25k leaders. So that is something to kind of note, but this android works very well with what they were trying to do here. Next, for the 3 cost, you have the Golden Frieza that goes from, you know, 20k to 30k on your opponent's turn. Has a little bit of a destruction effect that kind of needs help when it comes to power dampening. Then you've got this Ultra Instinct Goku, who is going to be a 40k on your opponent's turn. Now, I will say 4 costs need to come with the heat as of where we are in the game, because 4 costs are entirely too easy to get rid of, especially by blue. So when it comes to that, you really got to be careful. Tapping 4 for a guy that's just a 40k beater or a 40k defender on your opponent's turn. Sorry, not even really defender. He's not like he's a blocker. He's a 30k swinger on your turn, and he goes up to 40k on your opponent's turn. You can copy it, but 4 is not a good stat line. It's just not a good cost to avoid removal, and so chances are, unless you are facing an opposing red deck, this guy is not really going to be sticky. Now, a card that does really work in this, from what they intended to do, is actually going to be the Vegeta from last set, right? You have the ability to attack, discard 2 cards, which is going to be a little hefty in this deck when you don't draw really. But you're going to be able to discard 2 cards, and then you're going to be able to go up to a 50k, and this guy can't be KO'd, right? Now, this is going to be very, very good versus yellow, versus red for the most part. As a 50k, he's almost untouchable versus red. It's going to be good against green in almost every case. It's going to be pretty good against black, but Pan can bust it up, and then blue will just look at this and laugh and get it off the field. But boosting this guy up to a 50k, him having a pretty much like semi-infallible way to keep himself on the field, and then you being able to copy that 50k as your leader for the swing, and then do it again when your opponent attacks you, that's actually great. That's great. Like, I feel like if this deck does take off, this is going to be a 1-2 combo punch. Attack with Vegeta, discard 2, hit you for 50. Attack with my leader, copy Vegeta, be at 50. Sounds like bread and butter, right? And then we have the SR from this set that does pretty well on its own. And this is, you know, the Frieza that comes down, cannot be removed from the field, period, by your opponent's effects, and gains plus 20k power. So this is actually pretty neat. I think that this is, I mean, obviously his staying power is better than Vegeta's, but he also costs 2 more, but he doesn't have to discard cards from him. So both of those cards have a place in this deck. I believe Vegeta just may be a little too intensive due to you having to discard cards. However, depending on the color that you're facing, Vegeta's going to stick around for a very, very long time. Now, a card that I also wanted to get into when it comes to how this deck works is Android 17. I like this a lot because Android 17 is Universe 7, so is your leader, and he's going to be able to keep your leader at base 25k as long as he's on the board. He's got a pretty good effect outside of blue. He's going to be able to keep himself on the field pretty well as long as you don't turn him sideways. And with that being said, because you're copying the base power of a card, like let's say your opponent attacks you with a 30k, right? You can copy that 30k with your Goku leader, and then because Android 17 is constantly giving you plus 5k, you're going to be at 35k now. You block the attack without wasting a single card in hand. So I think that Android 17 is definitely going to be on the list of options to just be able to go into. Yeah, it's just kind of like it's got its own pseudo protection, and it's going to be able to help you save cards in hand, which I think this deck will desperately, desperately need. Now, after we talk about the unique, like these stat rocks is what I call them, just to make sure that you always have targets to copy with Goku, I do believe that the last 3 went over: the Vegeta from set 3, the Android 17 from set 2, the Frieza from set 4. I do believe that those are just on a different level because they can prevent themselves from being destroyed in one way or another, allowing you to rely on them more often. Whereas the other ones, I get what they're trying to do, but they're very removable and I would not trust them. Now, you have the battle tricks, which is the next part of what I wanted to go over, and they have a lot of them in this deck. So you've got arch enemies team up, and that's just that if you have a Frieza on the field, you can, just boost any Goku by 20k. And this could be a Goku battle card, your Son Goku leader. It's actually a battle, so you can use it on the defense or the offense. I think this is pretty cool because late game, you just slam 5 on the board with the Frieza, and then he can't be removed. And if you have this arch enemies team up, you have a lot of assurance as long as you can play it, because now your opponent can't remove the Frieza. Once per turn, you're going to be able to go up to 45k by copying said Frieza on that defensive turn, but then you also have arch enemies team up to go up by another 20k at another time. So I'm starting to see the ways that they're trying to make sure you can defend yourself. But as we talked about in the last video, if your opponent clears the Frieza before you get to the activate battle point, then this card can particularly be bad. And there's only a few Friezas that have staying power, like this SR has staying power, but the other Friezas are not exactly it. You've got Vanillas, you've got the 3-drop Frieza that came out this set, you have the Frieza, the 1-drop Frieza that's definitely not going to be hard to remove. So you got to kind of worry about that. You might not always have a Frieza, and you don't want a card that can be turned off by your opponent like that. But coming from the past, we actually have Saved by a Barrier, and this is very, very interesting as well. So Saved by a Barrier, if you guys need a little rehash of it, it's a 1-cost, activate battle, opponent's turn, choose your leader up to one of your battle cards, right? And it gets plus 20k power for the battle. Then if the chosen card is a battle card, this card cannot be KO'd for the rest of the turn. Now the cool thing about this is if your opponent is attacking your leader, right? And you have a guy on board that maybe they can't destroy, but what they can sure as heck swing over it, you can 2-for-1 them with this. And I think that's something to note. You can activate Saved by a Barrier, boost up something that's not being attacked, and then be like, okay, activate battle, Goku, copy that. You just turn a 25k into a 25k into a 40k, and then, or 45k, and then you copy it with Goku, making him 45k. But then your opponent can't even choose to swing over said battle card anymore because it can no longer be destroyed by battle for the turn. So I do think that we are at a point where, depending on how the format shapes up, Saved by a Barrier could be a really nice little gotcha moment for these decks. Next, we have got Glimpse of Hidden Arrogance. Do not forget, we are getting a reprint of this at some point that looks amazing, hot fire. But 2-cost, activate battle, choose your leader up to one of your battle cards, it gains plus 25k for the battle, and then if you have a battle card with 30,000 power or more, add up to 1 battle card with a cost of 4 or less from your drop to your hand. Now, because it doesn't have like a lingering effect like Saved by a Barrier, you're not getting the same mileage out of this card that you could in other cards. But this is a card that does boost energy, and or boost attack, and in a pinch, it could go a long way. You are able to maybe be like, okay, well, I'm gonna attack you with Double Strike for 55k. Cool. I'm going to use Glimpse of Hidden Arrogance to go boost this guy up from 30k to 55, or like hear me out on this one, right? Because this is where I'm getting at. You can have all sorts of setups. Let's say we're still running Kefla in this build, right? And you put Kefla's in the grave. You've already used Kefla, so she's in the drop. But you have like a 40k on the board, or 35k on the board, or what have you, whatever numbers need to match up. You could Glimpse of Hidden Arrogance on your 40k secret rare from this set. He goes up so high that you can bring the Kefla back to your hand. But then you can use Goku's ability to now copy the 65k secret rare's attack and make it his own, turning him into a base 65, blocking the attack while getting your Kefla back. These are the kind of plays that you can do, and while I don't like the deck's lack of draw, I do think that it does make you think a little bit more, and I'm all for that. I think that we need more decks that allow you to think. So looking at that one, we now are going to move over to Extreme Ultra Instinct. We discussed this in the earlier video today. This is just a card that's going to allow you to choose something 30k or more and then prevent it from being destroyed. So this can protect your Double Striker, Universe 7 Double Striker. This can protect your Universe 7 Secret Rare from set 1 if you play it. This can protect your Universe 7 Secret Rare from this set if you play it. There's quite a few cards that this can protect, and I am digging it. On top of that, if you want to protect your Vegeta, the 3-drop, you can do that. You can protect your Android 17 if he's boosted. You'd have to figure out a way to boost that, and that can be a little hard. That combo would probably work better in U7, the original U7 leader. But yeah, there's a lot of cards that this can actually touch on and protect them from getting removed to make sure that your board doesn't go anywhere, because with a deck that doesn't draw, you do need to make sure that your board presence stays strong. So yeah, we still have a fair amount to go over when it comes to this, but real quick, I do want to give out the normal look at our sponsors so you guys know where to buy TCGs from the best. 1 second. Alright y'all, taking a quick moment to shout out the sponsors for this video. First up is Mystic TCG, a store based in Missouri that sells all sorts of TCG product, even more than what you see featured here on this page. They also buy singles, collections, and prize cards, so make sure you actually catch them out in their store in Missouri at an event, or even on their Facebook, just to be able to see the events here, but also ask them what they're up to and what they're looking for in terms of vending. You can also use the code UNIXTCG to get discounts off your pre-orders as well as orders, so make sure you get your TCG product while it's hot. Then you have Eclipse Cards and Hobby based out of Texas, and if that sounds familiar, they did sponsor me with a box of Fusion World Set 1. But as you can see on this page, there is a plethora of TCG products that they are actually having for sale at their establishment. You can also even buy things that aren't just TCG products. As you can see on the screen right here, they hold their own locals, they hold their own events, and they are going out to more and more events. You can actually check their Facebook to see their schedule, as well as call and ask about their vending list. And at the checkout for their website, you can use the code UNI10X to actually get percentages off your pre-orders or your orders. So go check it out as well. And we're always up to all sorts of things in Universe X, so you can go down the description and check the link tree to find out about my other channels, my Twitch, or any other avenues that I'm creating content on. But if you want to go the extra mile, you can always go down to any description on any video and find my Amazon affiliate links. These products here will differ from video to video to cater to the audience in question, but it's just very easy to see something that you may like or be interested in, open it up and choose the style and or color that'll work for you. All proceeds will give kickbacks to the channel, so it'll be some direct support, and I'll always appreciate the help from you guys. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. As per usual, great places to shop. Make sure you use my code in the description to get percentages off your order. And yeah, happy hunting for all of your SPRs in the God Rare. So let's get back into it. So the next part of this is Self-Awakeners. Now, this could be very well a deck that, you just stay unawakened as long as possible. That being said, even with decks like those, you want to make sure that you have a couple Self-Awakeners so that your opponent can't look at you and keep you at 4 energy because they're not ready for your Awakened side. That always feels crappy. Now, like I said, some leaders, it doesn't matter. At some point, you're going to flip your Vegeta and he's going to start swinging for 35s. You're going to be able to flip your Jiren, but even then, with like Jiren, for me, there are times where it's like, if I got 2 Jirens on board, like 2 SR Jirens on board, heck yeah, I'm going down to 3 life. I don't want to give you the chance to double strike me, and I don't want to give you the opportunity to grind out the game to a point where you can deal with my Jirens. I just want to start drawing 4 every time you attack twice. So yeah, that's just going to be that. So when it comes to that, we've got Krillin. Tried and true, 10k, cost 2, great. He's never dead because he's either going to attack for 20k or he's going to defend in your hand for 10k, but he's a U7, so he can be searched out with the new ship. Then you've also got Android 17, who is also a 10k in hand. He is going to be a 20k on board, but he's also going to be a 25k on your opponent's turn, so he very much so fits in with the theme. This one is literally like, when you look at this card, it looks like he's already a part of the theme printed in this set, which is fine because generally the first year of card games is kind of built together, so the synergies are there. Next, you have the OG Appa Stappa, like, but for real, Gohan, Sun Gohan Adolescence, just such a good red card. And of course, that makes sense because he's the GOAT. He's my GOAT. Sun Gohan is just that dude. But the point is, this guy is going to be able to self-awaken if you need to, but for the most part, he's just going to soften guys down by 15k to be able to swing over them, or to be able to remove them with another power dampening effect or a KO effect once you've met the threshold. Very, very good. Also U7, yes. Now we have got the secret rare. And the cool thing about the secret rare is that we've all looked at this, the on-play effect, making it so you can't take your next damage, plus his one attacking effect is crucial. But when I was discussing in yesterday's video, this guy is like, he is a pseudo negate, if you will. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how he is. He is going to not only block a damage, but he's also going to allow your leader to go up to 40k once. So he's going to block a pretty sizable attack, and then he's going to straight up nullify another attack. So this is a really good card, and to be honest, if you play these on back-to-back turns, it might be over for your opponent. If they can't get the first one off the board, you're going to be able to start attacking and minusing your opponent's board by 40k. And nothing really survives that. Nothing really. Whatever survives that is getting horrendously attacked by your leader or whatever else you have on board. So yeah, this is definitely a snowball SCR, and we really got to see, because 6 is a little late, but both Jiren and this deck seem to be very late game red decks, so they might have the potential to play it. Now, notable options that we can't ignore, right? We have got the Beerus from set 1. He is Universe 7, so he can be searched out with the Shen, and on top of that, he's going to be something that can get rid of the board to keep pressure off of you, and he's a 35k for your leader to climb up to if he's on the board past then. So just remember that. Another notable card, we've got the Double Striker from the first starter deck. Again, he's Universe 7, so he can be searched, and he's 35k, so you can get up to there. There is synergy there. Plus, because of the card, the what is it called? Extreme Ultra Instinct card. This guy's Universe 7 and over 30k. So if you play him out with one energy up, and you kind of do what he needs to do, instead of being like, oh man, I gotta play my my Double Striker when it's right, you can play this guy, hit your opponent down to 2, have this in hand, and know that if your opponent cannot get over him by battle, you will be saving him from that. And there's a lot of cool stuff you can do there. Like, could you imagine if the game gets long enough and you have 7 energy and you play out Goku with a Save by a Barrier and Extreme Ultra Instinct in hand? This guy is not leaving the field no matter what your opponent wants to do. They will have to focus on your face or deal with your shotgun the following turn. And I think that's actually really, really, really cool. So now we have got another card, the Sun Goku. This is he comes in the promo pack for the current, regional pack. He's also an uncommon in the set. I don't know if there's going to be room for this, but he is a U7. You should have a fair amount of 30Ks on the board once the game gets a little longer. And high key, when your leader stops drawing, this may be a very, very good card to get some additional draw into your game plan, especially with the game potentially going long enough for you to play this and a valid card alongside of it. So he's just an option. Just think about it, you know what I mean? And then the things that tie it all together, you've got Shen. Shen is a on-play search top 3 for U7. We're pretty much at the point where I'm pretty sure 95% of this deck is going to be U7, with maybe the addition of things like margaritas if you want to and stuff like that. So Shen should always hit. He should always be getting a card, and he can also search super combos. So as long as your deck is pretty much almost all U7, this card should never miss, and you're going to be having a good time. It's really, really cool that we can actually build something as streamlined as that. And so the last card I want to talk about is a symbol represented as Universe 7. Since everything is going to be U7, you have the ability to activate this card and start searching things. This has a wider scope than Shin. It doesn't leave a body like Shin does, and it's not combo value in hand, but you are able to use it activate battle to go up plus 15, which is another thing that you can do. You can boost something by 15, or if you really need to get out of something, you could boost yourself up to a level of something on the board and then use this to go up even higher. You can search. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this. The point is though, it's yet another card that has full synergy with a full Universe 7 deck. And then we just have these two super combos, which are nice on their own simply because they are U7 and can be searched. So yeah, what do you guys think of Red UI Goku? I want to know what you guys are thinking about playing with. I want to know how you guys feel about the archetype. I do like the idea of copying cards, but at this very moment, I think it's incredibly weak to removal. And so I think that you have to really be careful with the cards that you try to choose to bank on when it comes to Goku's effect. I do think he's a late game red leader, but only time will tell. But yeah, being able to get to 6 to be able to drop this SER seems to be like the way. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I want to know your opinion. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you go and check out all the red cards in the description on the red card reveal. And if you want to take the deeper route, go on my Patreon in the description. And hopefully I see you tomorrow for blue, or I see you on my Universe X channel for the Daima episode 3 breakdown. Thank you guys. Later.